Welcome to Bury Head. This is in the southwest of the UK on the South Devon coast at a place called Torbay. It's just a few hundred metres from where I live. This is a place I love to get out to because if you spend, like I'm sure many of you who are listening to this, so much of your life in front of a computer, it's so important to get back to nature sometimes and to reconnect with nature. So most days you'll find me having a little walk around here just to get my head in the right place before I start my normal day of work, or during the middle of the day when I'm having some lunch. It's a beautiful area and I hope you enjoy the little pictures. But I've come here for a reason for today, and I'll just introduce you to that in a minute. Hi, my name is Mike.
Hi, my name is Kai.
And together we are the Bold Guys.
You maybe know, I lived in Sweden for a couple of years in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the forest. There I oriented myself very much to permaculture. Did you know, for example, that you can use sheep's wool in a bed of plants to insulate downwards, collect water and fertilize the plants at the same time? Well, for this wonderful cycle in nature, there is now a corresponding concept in the industry called circular economy. And no, it is not just another word for recycling that is meant here. How this works and how SAP can support this with the Intelligent Enterprise, Mike shows you now. And now back to you, Mike. I'm very curious what you have to tell us.
But there's a very different reason why I decided to bring you down to have a view of the Battery Gardens. It's not just because I love it here and I just wanted to introduce people to South Devon, which I do. It's a beautiful place. Anyone's welcome to come and visit. It's a very good place for tourists. But I wanted to think about how nature can inform what we do in the world of technology. And this is maybe not being new for a lot of you, but this is a fascinating concept, a fascinating possibility with this thing called circular economy. Now, if you look around a place like this, if you look around nature, if you know anything about nature, there is no concept of landfill. That basically from any process or organism, any waste that gets produced ends up being treated as food by another organism. And nature has had millions of years to refine and improve this process. But if you look at us as humans, we're very much take, make, destroy, get rid of economy. It's very much we take stuff out of the ground, we make something out of it, there's lots of pollution along the way, and then at the end of life it ends up, well, at least most of it ends up going into landfill. And what we're trying to do increasingly is to take a recycling approach, which is try to become more and more efficient within that sort of linear manufacturing process or linear supply chains, so that we produce less pollution. But we've never really taken this whole circular approach that tries to take all those problems and turn them into food for the economy. So I want to talk a little bit about that for now. And of course, one of the biggest problems with this take, make, dispose approach that we have is that there are only finite resources in the world, and we have these population challenges around the planet, and people all have the right to a nice and decent life. But the challenge is, how do you break the relationship between the resources that in the ground that we're taking and the consumption of those resources or production of those resources? And this is where the concept of circular economy is very good. At the moment, this take, make, dispose approach is not going to carry on. It's not going to be able to carry on for forever. I mean, I've heard different figures for this, but at the moment, my latest figure I've read is that we use 1.7 times the amount of planetary resources that we should do per year. So we're way beyond where we should be. So we need to do some rethinking with this. So this concept of circular economy, it's quite easy to understand how this works within the concept of natural goods and resources, because natural goods will biodegrade and they go back into the earth. But how can we think about this within the context of something like a washing machine or a car? Those things don't naturally biodegrade. One of the exciting things about circular economy is that if you take a systems approach, you start from the point of view of designing the product and right at the start, and you right to the end of its life, you can think about at each stage, where is the value being lost, what's being externalized, where's the pollution coming, and how can that be brought back into the process or indeed into another process. And these things are made possible with newer technologies that possibly weren't available before, and they provide new ways of building circular approaches. But let's think about one or two of those examples so that we can get a better understanding of what this is. There are lots of challenges in terms of rebuilding the process of innovation through to the end of life of a product. There's a lot of challenges, and there are some great people like the Ellen MacArthur Foundation and other organizations that are all looking at ways of doing this. So you break that link between the resources in the ground and the service or the experience that the customer has. And there's a lot of great examples. But one of the fundamental changes we'll need to make as consumers is our relationship to goods. We're used to owning the good itself. But actually, if you think about it, is that so important? So for example, I'm not bothered about owning my washing machine. The metal, the electronics, the drum, all these kind of different bits are not particularly interesting for me, except to the extent that they wash my clothes efficiently. Now, with this new circular approach, the company that produces the washing machine would keep ownership, and we would probably lease it or rent it out, and then the company that produces this would have a vested interest in ensuring that the product quality is high, that it lasts for a long time, and that all the bits that run out of useful life can be reused, recycled, remade into and become food as part of another product or another service. And that's a whole new relationship for us as consumers to these things. But hopefully you can see that this is going to make it extend the life of these things and help to ensure that the value from the various parts of these goods gets taken back into new products potentially, or upgraded products. And fundamentally, this has only become possible because of some of these new intelligent technologies which have been developed over the last few years. So just a few examples here at SAP, we've talked about the Intelligent Enterprise, and within that whole stack of products, you have the ability to have Internet of Things sensors on your products, so you can feed data back to the company that produces or leases the product out. So that means you can know if things are going well, or if there needs to be maintenance done on the product. You can track the life of it and improve it. You could potentially do upgrades. You've got all the capabilities of data analytics and machine learning and all the other interesting, cool technologies to make this possible. So there is this huge challenge we have to break this relationship between what we take out of the ground and the goods we buy. We can't carry on doing this in a way which is sustainable. It's just not possible. But the cool thing is there's some great conceptual approaches supported by new technologies, such as represented by the Intelligent Enterprise, that will help us meet these challenges in the years to come.
Thank you, Mike, for this wonderful explanation. This is a topic we will definitely come back to a few times. Is there a special application for the circular economy that you are particularly interested in? Then write it in the comments. That interests me very, very much. Do you want to know what happens with circular economy? Then push this button and you will be automatically notified when there is something new from us. That's all for today. Bye, folks.